Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays today. I'm not wearing my mic right now, but what's up, everybody? Today, guys, we've got to talk about that last series, Toronto Blue Jays taking a series W against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That made them 5-1 on the week. The best week that we've had, I think in this year, for sure.
In this year, yeah.
Somebody fact check me on that. Just based on the way things have been going, though, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So we got to break that down. The upcoming week against Baltimore, that is going to be tough. And then also, and very importantly, what Ross Atkins had to say on MLB Network Radio. He spoke about the Bo and Vlad trade rumors, had a lot to say with that. He spoke about John Schneider. He really gave us some insight as to what his game plan is moving forward with the trade deadline starting to loom and where he sees this team going for this year and for a couple months more to go. So, guys, so tons of stuff to break down here, folks. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog.
I'm your host, Adam Petto, guys. And yeah, great week. 5-1, right? I mean, that's what you need at a team in this position who's found themselves in a hole. But now we're only 2 games back from 500.
Right.
And when you think about that, you're like, okay, if we go on and we're going to look at the schedule like Nick was talking about, look at the upcoming, difficulties ahead. But if you could somehow manage to get yourself into a slightly above 500 by the end of June, well, now we're talking about a month away from the trade deadline, and that changes the picture dramatically for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, that might be a lot of hope right there, and there might be a big slap in the face of reality when we do face these teams. But we do know that a lot of things are changing with this Blue Jays and teams in terms of players' performance and the pitching and the team as a whole. So maybe this is just starting to get cooking. Maybe we are out of the bad part of our Blue Jays 2024 season.
Listen, man, we go 5-1 on the week, so it's impossible for us to be extremely negative on this show, right? It's just like when you do something like that, that's effectively as good as you can do. Okay, obviously you might, you could have gone 6-0 on the week, but 5-1 is really solid. I understand that the opposition, the opponents that you were facing, the White Sox and the Pirates, these are not playoff contending squads. I mean, these are teams that will probably be at the bottom of their divisions or very close to it, right? So we did handle some bad competition for sure, but we did just that. We handled them,
and that's what you gotta do.
It's you can't be extremely negative after this week. I think that you can still have a kind of a cautious optimism because I'm not fully ready to jump back in on this squad. I need to see them do some work against some quality opponents. I need to see them handle the Baltimore Orioles. That is the type of series where you go, oh shit, we just took it to a potential World Series contender. Now we are all the way back. So this next series is going to be very, very important for me just to really gauge how serious is this team actually.
Right, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, guys. But before we do, it's the title of the video and this podcast. Ross Atkins has revealed, I believe it was yesterday morning, the truth on exactly what his plans are with Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. about the trade rumors of that. Maybe the Blue Jays are going to be trading them because, their contracts are up at the end of 2025. We're not looking like a contender team as of yet. So now, of course, any MLB network will come out and say, oh, good team that's bad now and has good players that are coming up on the end of their contracts. Yes, there should be a trade in here. But Ross Atkins came out and he actually clarified to the world that is not the plan of the Toronto Blue Jays. Right here, he says, as this, my thing's glitching right here. It's actually literally blocking the quote itself. Well, let's refresh it.
Yeah. He basically says that it doesn't make any sense for us. And he said that multiple times, too. He said it first and he said it later as well. And it just doesn't make any sense for us. He was saying that there will be occasional times talking to other executives, they bring it up, right? Because when the whole trade report came out about, Bo and Vlad, I'm pretty confident that the language that was used was that they were listening or discussing offers, including Vlad and including Bo. Well, you can be discussing somebody's offer, but you don't need to, be bringing it up or, you could just be a recipient of that conversation, right? Like, if I say to you, I don't know, something, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're engaging in it, but obviously you got to respond to what this person is telling you. So he's saying that, look, we're not actively going out here people will bring it up to us. We shoot it down pretty quickly because at the end of the day, it just doesn't make any sense. And they believe in Bo and they believe in Vlad.
Well, right here, the direct quote with what you're saying here is, and we just say it's not something that we've not spent any time on. When they ask about it, he literally says, we have not spent any time on it because they're so talented and such great teammates. They're attracted to other teams, or they're attractive to other teams. So, of course, they're going to call. But, yeah, that's the discussion, right? When the MLB, the rumor came out and said, like, MLB Network said that they weren't, or other MLB executives said they weren't opposed to it. I think that was some word twisting right there to get some clicks, get some interest from people and the fans of MLB. So, but he clears it up. We are not going to be trading Bo Bichette, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. As of right now, obviously, things may change. Things will always change. But I highly doubt that you're going to see Bo and Vlad leave the team this summer.
Listen, I do also want to, I guess push back a little bit on you. I think that there was probably some word twisting and, going for clicks with the whole they're not opposed to it comments and everything like that from that MLB executive. But I also wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if there's a little bit of, sugarcoating here from Ross Atkins. I could totally see reality where it's probably a happy medium between both. Where, somebody did call, maybe Atkins wasn't the one who brought it up, but a conversation was had where Atkins showed a little bit of interest to just, gauge where it's at and then shut it down. And then that other person was like, well, they're not opposed to it because you're talking about it. So I do think it's probably a bit of a happy medium there. I will say that I believe him when, they're not thinking about it because we've come and we spoke about it before. Just if Ross Atkins trades away Bo or trades away Vlad, and unless he gets like the absolute bag of bags where every single person is in agreement on this is the best possible trade, it is almost like making his own bed and saying, bye-bye, Toronto, I failed.
Well, that's going back to your thing about engaging in conversations. I think it was, well, no, we haven't talked about it, but what do you have in mind?
Right.
It's like that kind of thing. I'm waiting for the ridiculous offer. Like if I get if you get a ridiculous offer, well, I have to hit accept.
Yes, of course. So it's almost irresponsible of you to just say no outright and never hear what you have to say.
Exactly, right? So with that being said, I think he realized, I'm not getting any ridiculous offers, so I'm not going to be trading Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I think it just comes down to that.
So I know he was also speaking, too, about the whole, because the extension conversations, that has been something that's been coming out as well, like saying that they're still interested in doing that. I mean, what are your thoughts right now on the whole Bo and Vlad extension? It feels like we go back and forth, religiously on, is it a Bo thing? Is it a Vlad thing? How much money? When? Like, is that the right move for this team moving forward? And if so, who? And then if so, how much?
See, that's such a hard question to answer there, Nick, because I don't know if it's the right move moving forward. I have no idea what this team's going to look like down the stretch, right? But I will say here, Ross Atkins did talk about the extensions. He said, of course, we have dialogue with them, and that's something that we will continue. Atkins said, we believe in them, we believe in their futures, and we hope that there is a way that they can play here for a long time. And look, I mean, if you can kind of transition your brain thought that, they actually, MLB Network described Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. as aircraft carriers. The guys who will carry your team to a World Series. But if you transition that and think, okay, well, they don't have to be the aircraft carriers. They can be solid MLB players that we can have for a longer time on this team than until another aircraft carrier, a legitimate one, shows up, like a Juan Soto or Aaron Judge or whatever it might be, to actually carry this team because they're good quality players. If you could find the right deal for Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero Jr., if it makes sense for the amount of quality of at-bats and defense, whatever they're giving you, if it makes sense, do it. But I have no idea at this point. It's still early to say because, yes, it's been one good month of May for Vladdy Guerrero Jr., a better month of May for Bo Bichette, still not great, but we got to still see what happens at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, I'm curious to hear what the chat has to say, and you as well. I don't think that aircraft carrier is the term that I would use to describe them. Like,
it's not.
I think that, back in 2021, it was seriously looking like Vladdy Guerrero Jr. was going to be that guy, and he was going to do everything in his power to take your team to the next level and go to that World Series. Since then, it hasn't been the case. He has been playing some really good ball, albeit without a whole lot of power. And Bo Bichette, I mean, I've always looked at him as just a very solid, if we're trying to use, I don't know, ship metaphors right now, like a destroyer or, you know, a little battleship or something, right? Like a good quality guy. But, you know, I just don't see either one of them as being a quote-unquote aircraft carrier. Exactly. And I will also say, too, I mean, Bo Bichette has got to start turning it around because he could be losing his destroyer status very soon if I still see him swinging at balls feet outside the fucking zone.
I mean, we could talk about that a little bit right here, but, man, like, Bo Bichette, when it's on his approach, it is looking amazing. When it's off, and we saw that this past Pittsburgh series, he was hot, and we even picked him for the wheel a couple times. He fell off. Yeah, he fell off, and it's shocking. It's shocking, man. I don't know. And we saw the frustrations from Bo Bichette on the bench.
He looks depressed.
I seriously, he looks depressed. It looks like he's beating himself up. It looks like he doesn't want to be here right now because of how bad it is. I mean, you're going and losing. You're having bad at-bats every single day. It's tough to go in there every day and be at your best. Where do you see the Bo Bichette, like, where do you see the Blue Jays handling Bo Bichette? Like, do they move him down? Do they rest him? Like, what's the next step for him?
It's impossible to do anything with him right now. You know, Ross Atkins is coming out and saying, okay, well, we don't want to trade him. We're not going to do that. Okay, so fine. You're not going to trade him. That was one of the options. You're closing the door on that. He is saying that he wants him to be here long term. Well, okay, I hear what you're saying, but how much money is Rogers Communication Company willing to fork over for a guy who does look depressed on the bench and who is swinging at shit a foot outside the zone right now? I would anticipate it's not that much. And then from Bo Bichette's standpoint, he knows that this is the floor of floors for him right now, and he's going to do everything in his power to get out of this so that he can get that payday, in quote-unquote, to be a destroyer or whatever the analogy is going to be, right? Like, he wants that. So I don't think that there's anything that you can do with Bo Bichette at this point. I saw an article. It was an opinion piece, and I forget who wrote it. Coming out very recently talking about what Ross Atkins just said, and they took the whole negative on it. They were really upset about the fact that it almost feels like there is no plan, or the plan is just to stay on course.
Yeah.
And I think that, Ross Atkins was very smart with the way that he came out and he spoke about things, because Blue Jays fans, we get excited when we hear about, Vlad and Bo being here long term, right? I mean, I imagine a lot of you folks that are listening to us right now, the 146 of you, I would wager a bet that at least half of you, or maybe even more than half of you, own a Guerrero or Bo Bichette jersey, right? So. Literally, these are the guys that we've invested in. So when we hear that, oh, maybe they're going to be here long term, that almost feels like news to us, like this is a new thing. Ross Atkins was really smart with the way that he spoke about this, because it kind of reinvigorated us a bit, but it is the same shit, different day. It's just, we're kind of we're staying on the course right here. And in terms of Bo Bichette, I do think it's hard to deviate from that course because he's making it very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to keep going. I've talked about this before. Everyone's saying, do you think Bo or Vlad is going to get traded? No, because Ross Atkins needs to keep on with the plan. If he just blows it all up, well, then what the hell was that plan? That's like taking your naval ships into the ocean and going, oh crap! Actually, they're right ahead of us. There's a challenge. Let's do something different, right? You got to trust that your plan coming into the season is going to work. We're a little bit more than a third into the season, and he's hoping it works. And speaking of hoping that things work, he's hoping that John Schneider is going to be the manager of this team moving forward as well. And he believes in this team. He believes in John Schneider because he had some pretty choice words with how he thinks John Schneider's been performing so far this season. Jim Bowden, he came out here and kind of quoted the MLB Network thing that Ross Atkins said. Just waiting for this to refresh right here because this computer is absolutely messing up. Here we go. He said that Ross Atkins told us he is not considering a managerial change, and he believes that John Schneider has been, quote, incredible and part of the solution, not the problem.
Right.
Obviously, when I hear that, and probably when you hear that too, and many of you out there, you think that it's got to be flipped. He's got to be crazy. No, he's been part of the problem, not the solution. But look, it's the same thing that he invested with his players, the same thing that he left John Schneider in charge. He gave him an extension. He's sticking with it, saying that John Schneider will be part of this plan to help the Blue Jays get back to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this is definitely a load of BS. Sophie's saying it right now in the chat. Yeah, literally, what a load of BS. I think that we can all kind of agree that, John Schneider is a guy, and that's all he is. I don't really see him at all as being part of the solution. I mean, I wouldn't go so far to say that this is all his fault, everything bad that's happened with the team. It isn't. He has made some bad calls before. He's also made some good calls. I don't really think that he adds a whole lot, though, and I don't think that John Schneider is a guy that is going to take your squad to that next level, to the World Series, right? There are some managers that you can pinpoint around the MLB and you go, that guy knows what he's doing. He commands his clubhouse. He comes in with new ideas. His entire coaching staff, like, they're all working together for one goal, and it works. And I don't think that you can say that at all about John Schneider. So I don't really know what the hell Ross Atkins is talking about there. I think that he's just sticking to his plan to cover his own ass. I agree with him in parts about the Vlad and the Bo stuff. You know what? Fine. You don't want to trade them. I get it. I was good with either one, right? If you want to extend them, we can do that. If you want to trade him, fine. If he wants to extend them, that's cool. The John Schneider stuff, Here's what it is.
Do we believe John Schneider is a manager that makes his own decisions most of the time? Like, when he makes the lineup cards, does he base it off of what he believes, or is he still being fed into with the whole analytics department saying, hey, this is who you should be playing out there? Right?
I mean, look, it's impossible for us to know 100% because, like, we're not in that room. I wish I was a fly on that wall and know exactly how things go down. But it does feel like, and this is what I mean by him not actually adding stuff.
Right.
I don't know how much John Schneider even does there, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying is Ross Atkins, I think when he says he's doing an incredible job, I think he's doing an incredible job of listening to Ross Atkins and his analytics department.
Right.
Like, that's it. That's the plan. That's where we're going. Ross Atkins set up the ships. John Schneider, you are going to be the guy that hands over the card, fills up the lineup cards, and shows up and sits in the dugout and makes the calls with the guys. But we're going to give you all of the decisions. We're going to give you who you should play in what spot, what lineups you should put out. I mean, how we saw Vladdy play third because you had analytics. I'm breaking them down a little bit later. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Analytics saying you need this guy in the lineup. This is how you do it. And you go and you do it. I really do believe a lot of this decision-making is already kind of predetermined, like we saw in the wild card series that was admitted that, yes, it was a team effort, not just John Schneider pulling Jose Barrios. It was a team effort, an organizational effort to do it, even though Ross Atkins threw him under the bus. But it was still come out that it was a team effort.
Let's talk a bit about that, actually. I saw some people bringing that up, and I actually completely forgot about that entire debacle where, yeah, I mean, we lose in the wild card. It's dramatic. It's bad. They have the postseason press conferences. Ross Atkins was a complete disaster. But part of it was the fact that, he just took John Schneider, threw him under the bus, and then, backed up, went forward again, backed up. Like, he ran over that guy 5 or 6 different times in that entire press conference. And it is wild for him to have done that. And now, several months later, and then, basically for the rest of the offseason, too, completely had his back. So, I mean, that's one thing that I can't respect about Ross Atkins is I know that a lot of the stuff that he says is bullshit just to save his own ass at the time, right? It's like, what is best for me today? Okay, what's best for me today is to throw my guy under the bus. What's best for me tomorrow is to support him and act like I've been supporting him the entire time. So I do think that Ross Atkins, and a lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, you need to take with a grain of salt because it is always his best interests at heart. I don't know if he even fully believes that John Schneider is doing an incredible job. I think that he just believes that is what most people will be okay with hearing.
See, I'll even push back there. Will most people be okay with hearing that John Schneider is doing incredible?
It's yes, because you can't say the alternative. Because if you say the alternative, you have to get rid of him.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's the thing is I think what's saving Ross Atkins right now is I have to commit to what I've created. I have to now commit to what I have created, and we can't you can't go on a detour on this naval mission. You got to keep going forward, and that's part of it.
Well, and that is why as we get further and deeper into this season, I think things would and potentially could still be differently if the hole is so dramatic that, we are one of the worst teams in baseball. Right. Because of the 5-1 week that the Jays just had, they are clawing themselves out of that deep, dark, dramatic place a little bit. It could get bad again, with Baltimore and with this tough June stretch that we are going to get into shortly. It could absolutely get bad. But if we are around where we are right now and we're just kind of chilling here, then I think it's becoming increasingly clear that really nothing might happen. Like you might not get any sell or any buy.
Yeah, literally.
Because you're in this tough place where a lot of the decisions that are getting made are for Ross Atkins to hold on to his position. And I truly believe that a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the next couple months is not for the benefit of the team. It is for the benefit of Ross Atkins just holding on to his job as long as possible. And therefore, if we are kind of in and around this middling place, kind of close to 500, but not really compelling enough to, go all in or anything like that, I could see a reality where literally nothing happens at all. And I would also argue that might be the worst possible scenario out of everything.
And to be frank, I quite frankly don't even blame him if we are a middling team to not go all in, and because we don't have any prospects.
I wouldn't want him to.
I wouldn't want him to. We have to be a middling team. Oh no, we don't have to be a middling team, but like that would be the case, because the only way we would trade away all the future is if our team was popping off like crazy.
Right.
Like if we somehow just demolished teams. We had the most incredible month of June. I believe we play 28 games in June. If we went 20-8, okay, we might need to start selling a little bit and plug the holes, or not selling the prospects and plugging the holes on the major league roster. But it all comes down to the next stretch, man. And it comes down to whether we have a playoff chance or not.
Exactly, yeah. Let's take a look very quickly over here, guys, at the MLB Fangraphs odds. As you can see, I mean, they've been, they update them daily. And we were down pretty bad roughly a week ago. Yeah. This past week, guys, we are on the upswing. It's not dramatic. It's not where you'd want to be. Currently, they have us roughly 21% of the time the Toronto Blue Jays will make playoffs. I think a large part of this as well is because you'd think after a 5-1 week, well, maybe we'd go a little bit higher. But, you had the Yankees winning a lot of games. You had Baltimore winning a lot of games. There are people in the American League right now who are doing exactly what they should be doing, and then some, right? So that is also going to factor into the playoff odds that, okay, fine, we're doing it. But if nobody in front of us ever slows down, it's impossible to make it anyways, right? So, I mean, good work from the Toronto Blue Jays. 21%, though, still isn't where I'd want to be.
Yeah, you just had to survive in the month of May. I mean, we saw just right there in April, we were around the 40% mark. And then May, we dropped like a rock. We sunk down in that 20-ish range. So we have to get back. In the month of June, it's a new calendar month. We got to refocus, because when you look over at the standings right here, I mean, hell, we're almost
there.
We're tied for fourth.
Almost in the mix.
We're tied for fourth. And if you look at Boston, we're only 1 game back from them, and they're 3.5 games back from Minnesota. So basically, we're 4.5 games back out of the wild card spot. So we need to have a great month of June if we want a chance to even get back at it, and it is not an easy month.
No, it's going to be...
This is the month from hell.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very difficult, everybody. This next week of baseball will be really tough. 4 games against Baltimore. It is at home, so that is, something to note. But it's also Baltimore, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they are 8-2 in their last 10.
I think so.
Absolutely destroying right now the entire MLB. So. Baltimore is going to be a big problem. They are 8-2. They're 37-20. Yeah. That's really, really good, guys.
That's nasty.
So even though that we're at home, like I still think that series is going to be tough. Oakland is like your one reprieve before then you have Milwaukee, and you got Cleveland, who is shockingly good at baseball. Boston, I don't think that you can sleep on Boston either. They're 30-30, so it's not like they're a walkover team by any stretch. Cleveland again, and we know that they're tough. Boston again, and then New York is going to be tough. I mean, like, just looking at some of those series, like right now, that I would automatically say, well, that's an L, or at very least a split. It's, Baltimore, it's New York, it's probably both of Cleveland, and then, you might even go so far to say Milwaukee, too. Because they're 36-23. That's like a really good team as well. So
look, if we want to have a good month, this is just a good month in my eyes. You split the Orioles, you take 2 of the Athletics, and then, I'm going to say we lose the Milwaukee Brewers because we got to play pretty realistic here. And then of the 6, Boston and Cleveland, you got to split with Cleveland 3-3. You got to win. You got to beat Boston 4-2. and then split the Yankees. I'm not sure exactly where that will put us. Let's see.
That would be positive, but slightly.
Slightly. But that's what you got to do, right? 2 wins, 6 wins, then another 3. That's 9. Only 1 in Milwaukee. It's 10. 2 at 12. 14. So you got to go 14 wins of the next 26 games.
Right.
So, yes, there you go. That's 14
just
and 12.
A bit below, or a bit above, 500.
Actually, I think 14 and 12 would bring us, a bit above in the stretch of June right here.
Yeah.
But that would bring us literally right back to 500 on our actual total win-loss record.
Well, that will be obviously a very tough stretch because the opposition is going to be good. But looking at what the Blue Jays did in May, it was better, right? Like, it was better than April. April was just truly really bad. But it's still not, I don't think, where you need to be considering where you're at in the standings. The Blue Jays ERA team-wide, it was 13th in baseball.
Not bad.
3.93. I mean, you take that, right? Like, that is good. In terms of hitting, we were, effectively mid again. Still not the best OPS-wise. I believe that we were ranked 16th in all of May. So, 16th in May OPS-wise, 13th in terms of ERA. That, just doing the math right there, that puts you as basically as average as you can be, which is fine, but it's not fine when you're already in a hole. So, that month of May needed to be like the first stepping stone into getting better. And if you are around that, 15 mark in both of those categories through June, I think some of these better teams like Baltimore and Milwaukee and New York, I do think that they will take advantage of you because they are significantly better than that on the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to have our guys clicking. And one thing that Ross Atkins mentioned, that we mentioned earlier in this video, is that he really likes the way this team's been playing lately in May. And I guess you could say it is better than April, right, in terms of just comparing yourself to other teams. But he did mention about Vladdy Guerrero Jr. when talking about extensions that, well, I mean, he's playing a lot better now. Maybe there's something there. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. in May is being exactly what we hoped Vladdy Guerrero Jr. would have been. Last 30 days, he's got an OPS of 952. He is we crowned Jose Barrios the player of the month for the Blue Jays.
Right.
I think we can assuredly say that Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is the player of the month.
In May.
Yeah. In May. Absolutely phenomenal. Bichette slightly climbing up the ladder a little bit better. Then you have Dalton Varsho being good, but you got to have more contributions. That's the thing, because some people fell off, like a Justin Turner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Justin Turner really fell off a cliff right there.
Right, and then George Springer has been good lately, right, in the last week, but still, we got to see what else we can get, and the whole team just needs to find it at the exact same time. The guys who are hot need to stay hot. Guys who are cold need to get hot.
Right. Yeah. Well, just looking at this, again, for the month of May, Guerrero, can't say anything bad about him. Schneider, even though the batting average isn't great, there's still a lot of pop right there. I mean, Varsho would like to see a little bit more, in terms of the production is good. 14 RBIs is fine. But, the slash line could definitely use some
tough
work.
Month for him.
Danny was really solid. But then after that, I do think that you look at the rest of the team and go, okay, we could see a bit more from you. Other than, of course, Daniel Vogelbach, which we will get to, man. Daniel Vogelbach is on a fucking tear right now, to say the least, everybody. He is playing some really good ball.
Yeah.
But, across the board, guys, I mean, good month of May, tougher month of June coming up. Let's keep on the Vlad train, though, guys, and discuss what we saw yesterday. Moving over to third base. Let me tell you, the cannon of the arm that this guy had, I forgot that it was there. And I say forget as in like he had it in the first place.
Right.
I don't even know if he did. Back when Vladdy Guerrero Jr. used to play third in 2019, he was in the bottom 1 percentile in terms of outs above average. He had a negative 15 run value at that position. Obviously, the Blue Jays learned their lesson, and they said, you know what? I think we're going to move you over to first base. And he is a better first baseman. I'm not going to go so far to say that he's great in any stretch of the imagination, but he is better.
Yeah.
However, yesterday, Blue Jays Twitter and just the media kind of lost their shit because we saw for the first time in years Vladdy Guerrero Jr. starting a game at the third base position. And apparently it might not be the only one that we see for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, you got right here John Schneider coming out and saying that it's not a position change by any means, but he could play there perhaps a couple of days out of the week, a week and a half, getting the most out of their guys on the current roster, like Daniel Vogelbach, who is going to be DHing. Like if you have Turner in the lineup, you can't have Vogelbach. But if you play Turner at first, I guess is what they're going to go with. They're saying screw the third base position for him, and then move Vladdy over to third, then you can have Daniel Vogelbach in the lineup. So it has nothing to do with Vladdy. This is what I like to. This is what I see it as. It's desperation mode now for the Blue Jays. You need to play the best players in your roster on the field any given day. That's a clear fact. I don't care how you do it. We are punting a bit of the run prevention strategy. We're saying, screw you, Ross Atkins. Or maybe Ross Atkins said, guys, honestly, just like, screw me. Like, we can't be doing this run prevention thing. Bench Kiermaier, play Vogelbach, screw it all. Let's get the best players on the field. And I personally think, thank you, good move. Like, we have enough good defenders out there that they can find, if the ball finds them, like Varsho, we'll be fine. Play the best players on the field, especially Daniel Vogelbach.
Well, okay, I like that. I'm still not quite ready because, listen, I'm going to push back on you a bit. I know that 24 hours ago you were saying the Vladdy at third base was not the right move.
Right. But then what did I say? I said Vogelbach needs to put up today. That's the only way. And guess what? He put up.
He did. He did put up. And again, like, I need to continue to see that. In my opinion, I just don't see right now why you need Justin Turner in the lineup every single day. Like, you know, we just saw it, right? The guy's batting 84 in the month of May. I think that he could use some time off. Like, I still think that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at third base in the long run is going to be more valuable to you than Guerrero. And yes, we didn't see any issues from Guerrero yesterday at third base, but the guy only had like two baseballs hit over to him, right?
Spin move at shortstop.
Yeah, okay, listen, I mean, in the two baseballs that he had to actually handle at third base, it was fine, but there wasn't any particularly hard plays at all, and there will be games that go on where a lot more balls just get hammered down that line where we could see some issues. Yeah. I love IKF over there. I think that having him there is great, and IKF actually in the month of May was doing really, really good. For right now, for me, yes, Daniel Vogelbach deserves a spot in the lineup. I don't know if Justin Turner does. I think it still needs to be one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you, but they're not going to bench Turner outright. They're still going to give him a chance to get ABs because they trust in the stuff. Because you sign him, you bring him on, he's a veteran guy, you know exactly what you're going to get every single day. He's going to give you competitive at-bats, and you got to trust him.
Well, I know exactly what he's going to get every single day. I see it in the month of May. He's going to give me an 84 batting
average. He's done that. Well, you could say the same thing about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in April, saying, well, I know he's going to give me in May.
Okay, I understand that, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a different type of person that means something different to this ball club than your 1 year, 39-year-old Justin Turner.
Do you not believe that Justin Turner is going to turn it around at some point?
I think that he will at some point, but I think until then, you just flip-flop him and Daniel Vogelbach. Vogelbach's been chilling on the bench for majority of the season. Now he's turning it on. Right. So give Justin Turner a couple days off. Let Vogelbach take majority of this while he's hot until he cools, because eventually he's going to cool off, and then you can cycle Justin Turner in. But I don't see, like, Justin Turner's not providing a whole lot now to your line.
I think we're actually talking about the same thing. I'm not like, I think I misinterpreted where you were saying bench Turner outright. Like, just bench him outright.
What do you mean?
You can't do it.
Well, I'm not gonna. What do you mean? Like, never again play him?
Yeah,
obviously not.
Yeah,
I know. I'm saying, like, look, Daniel Vogelbach in a large part of the time, in the last 15 days, I think he's played in 7 games potentially. I mean, I'm something around that. That can be Justin Turner now. Justin Turner's played in a lot more games than that.
I agree.
Flip-flop them.
I completely agree. But the days where it's like, okay, it makes sense to play Turner here, but we also want to keep Vogie's bat in the lineup, this is when you'll see Vladdy those couple of days out of the week playing third base.
Look, I hear what you're saying, and I understand that you will see him. I just disagree with it. I think that, look, I think that it's fine right now because we won yesterday.
Right.
But tomorrow or the next day when Guerrero makes 2 errors over there, it's not going to be fine anymore. And then we're gonna go, why were we doing that? This is why.
So then, how would you recommend getting Turner in the lineup and keeping Daniel Vogelbach?
Exactly. That's what it is. You can't do it. Like, you can't do it. I just don't see right now how Justin Turner in the lineup, he's batting 84
in the month of May.
In the month of May, right? So it's like, yes, when he was hot, he's in there every single day. He's not hot anymore. Daniel Vogelbach is hot. This is, like, now, so this is where you have to use your eyeballs, and you do that whole thing where it's like, well, there's analytics, and then there's also, playing the guys who are doing well right now, play the hot hand. Daniel Vogelbach's the hot hand. Until he's not the hot hand anymore, once he's not the hot hand, Justin Turner, you're back in.
Right. All right. And there will be, but you still have to keep him regular. You've got to cycle in Turner. I agree with you. I'm on the same page. But you have to cycle him in, or else you might as well just cut Turner.
Well, look, you're going to cycle him in, but it's now for me, like, that's the first time that we've seen that configuration. That's the first time this entire season we've seen that configuration. Okay,
Vladdy at third, Turner at first.
Yes, and Daniel Vogel, all in the same lineup, all playing right now. You know, one of them's DH, one of them's first, one of them's third. I don't see why you need to do that on the regular basis. You can have one of Justin Turner and Daniel Vogelbach in the lineup at one time. And for right now, for me, that is Daniel Vogelbach. I don't think that you can have the luxury of having everything, those guys in the lineup consistently. Justin Turner can get his at-bats. They just got to, now he is the Daniel Vogelbach role until proven otherwise.
Well, I'm okay if Vladdy plays like third 2 out of 10 games, maybe 12 games. Like if it has to be that way for whatever reason, it has to be that way because I'd rather that.
But it doesn't have to be that way. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have. I'm saying you don't do it. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be that. It was never that way. It's never been that way.
If you have to get Turner in regularly, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't understand why we can't just have Justin Turner be what Daniel Vogelbach was up until this point.
Right. Well, that's
why not?
Who else are you going to play? You're going to play Kevin Kiermaier over, I guess, be Justin Turner, right? Because the way it's all shifted around is that you're going to have Kevin Kiermaier in center, moving everybody down. IKF third. You got David Schneider at second. You got Barshover at left field. You'll have Kevin Kiermaier.
You can have Biggio up there.
But then exactly, that's the question. Would you rather Justin Turner or Kevin Kiermaier or Kevin Biggio?
I would rather Kevin Biggio if that means that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is playing his position. Because you're not factoring in the fact that Vladimir Guerrero Jr., in your scenario of having Justin Turner, now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. plays a position that he hasn't played in years.
Right.
Yes, he was good yesterday with the 2 things that he saw, but we haven't seen a large sample size enough. And the last large sample size, he was literally the worst defender in baseball.
Right. No, I hear you. I'm just saying, whatever. I'm just going to say screw punt the defense until proven otherwise and just play the best hot lineup.
Guys, let us know in the comments down below. I'm saying Justin Turner, make him the new Daniel Vogelbach until he gets hot.
And I agree.
Until he gets hot.
And I agree. But you got to manage it right. So you don't want to lose Turner completely.
Okay. But let me ask you. Daniel Vogelbach has been on the bench this whole time.
Look what happened to him during the month of April when he was on the bench. He was
what are you talking about? But now he's good.
Because Turner was sick and he lost a lot of time. Now Daniel Vogelbach took over and look what happened. He got hot.
I don't think that you can say that Justin Turner being sick is what made Daniel Vogelbach good.
Yeah, because he's got regular playing time.
No, man.
Yes.
That's
exactly what happened.
Okay, so then why is Justin Turner with his regular playing time not being good? If all it takes is regular playing time to be good.
Because he was sick, he was out of rhythm, he had to find himself, and he's beginning to struggle. It's a spiraling effect.
Okay, so it's a spiraling effect. Put him on the bench until he can figure it out again.
And I agree. All right,
you guys let us know in the comments down below. Sophie's saying I wouldn't play Turner. I agree with you. Let's go.
I say play him 2 out of 6 days of the week.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, well, then clearly we're on the same page, just arguing about different things, guys. Let's get to the next segment of this show, guys, and crown the J of the Week.
All right, J of the Week. I know, speaking of Sophie, you're going to love this one.
Yeah,
it is your boy. It's your boy, George Springer. He is the J of the week. He absolutely popped the hell off, guys. He had an OPS of like 1.1 this week.
Yeah.
And the walks were off the charts. He got 7 walks with an on-base well over 500 on-base percentage.
Look, everybody knows here, Sophie included, we have been not Justin Turner, excuse me, George Springer. Well, I mean both of them right now. But George Springer, I don't want to go so far to say a hater, but we have been criticizing him quite a bit, this entire season, and frankly, rightfully so. But we are very capable of going back on what we said and saying, you know what, you played some really good ball this week, George. He did. 6 games played, 7 walks, and what I love the most here is the no strikeouts. Right here, because, I mean, you saw George Springer, like, in the beginning parts of the season, the shit that he was swinging or looking at, it was all over the place, right? I'm not ready to say that he's 100% back because, again, we do need to factor in. We're talking about the Nick Nastrinis of the world and the Chicago White Sox and everything like that. But this is a really reassuring sign, and at the very least, you have bought another week to be in the lineup.
That's exactly right. If you really look at where most of these numbers came from, it was in that Chicago series where he got walked a ton, guys. Look at this. He literally got walked 1 time. Literally 5 times.
5 times.
In that series against the White Sox. It carried over into the first game against the Pirates, but then ever since then, 0 for 1 for 4.
Right.
Going back to George Springer classic ways. Let's see if he could do it against a little bit tougher pitching against the Baltimore Orioles. That's going to be the challenge.
That's the thing, right? I mean, look, if you play the Chicago White Sox 162 times the year, you will look like prime Barry Bonds. Okay, that's just what it will be. He was really good against them. He did damage against a bad team. He took advantage of them. You are going to be up against some significantly harder pitching in the coming weeks. We do need to give a quick shout out before we get into the next part of this to Davis Schneider as well, everybody. Babe Schneider has been really good. 970 OPS, clutch hit after clutch hit, 8 RBIs. That's primarily from the leadoff spot, too. So, he is absolutely cashing things in right now. Davis Schneider continues to deliver time in and time out. And it's just this is the type of unexpected breakout that we've been calling for, and we're getting it. Yeah, absolutely. And another, smaller shout out. He only pitched 2 games this week, but Trevor Richards coming in and saving the team on that Friday, that was pretty clutch. He goes 3 innings. He kept us in it to eventually win it in extra innings. That was very needed. Yeah, and the bullpen is going to be very important. Trevor Richards especially, considering Alek Manoah going on the IL, obviously. Jordan Romano going on the IL. Eric Swanson being sent down. These are some big names that we are going to be without for a long period of time, everybody. And Trevor Richards being that long man in the pen until you get, potentially Yariel Rodriguez again or Bowden Francis, whoever it's going to be, he is going to be critical. He's got to be locked in because I imagine that especially this coming Tuesday, potentially, he might be seeing a couple innings. Exactly. That's exactly right. We're gonna have to do some pretty good bullpen management for this upcoming 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles, guys. Let's take a look now at that series in Game 1, which is tonight. And by the way, guys, if you are going to the game tonight, Nick and I will both be there. We're going to be with some guys from the Nation Network, so we hope to see you. Hit us up on our Instagram, Twitter, whatever is your preferred social media platform. Message us if you are going. We would love to meet up and talk and say hi. First game, Kevin Gausman tonight. You're going up against Grayson Rodriguez, who has been turning it on even better than the numbers you're seeing right here. He has been on fire lately. And, well, so has Kevin Gausman a little bit. He's had his ups and downs. The strikeout numbers are coming back. What are you thinking for this one, Nick? It's going to be tough. Listen, this is a different series than we've been in for a while, right? Also, City Connects. City Connects. Night mode activated, guys. That's going to be pretty cool. Maybe there's a little bit of fire there. But, in this past week, we were looking at the pitching, and, it was kind of okay, well, it's the White Sox. We're going to handle them, no problem. This is a different team, though, right? And, yes, Gausman's been very good at baseball, and, I do trust and believe in him. This is a different lineup that he's going to be up against, right? You are dealing with the Baltimore Orioles, who are across the board just really, really good at baseball. We know that Mountcastle kills. We know that Henderson is a beast, right? Mullins can be really good against, specifically Gausman in the past. Rutschman, Santana. This entire lineup is just built differently, and they are better than we are in terms of the hitting. They just are. Gausman, for us to win this game, we need Gausman to be so locked in. Right. And I also think that you're going to need this lineup to claw out some runs, man. I find it hard to believe that we're going to be able to handle Grayson Rodriguez, and Gausman's going to be able to keep it close enough for us. So I do think we're going to lose this one. I'm going to say we lose this one as well, guys. Rodriguez is too hot. This is the best pitcher we've faced in a few weeks, hands down. The ERA is very similar to guys we saw against the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he's on fire right now. I think we're going to lose this one. It might be a tough fight,
in our kind of realm of Blue Jay land, where it's like 1-1, and then there'll be one inning where the wheels fall off on the pitching staff for the Blue Jays, and we give up like 4 or 5.
I do think that this is one of our better chances, though, everybody, just because it's Kevin Gausman, right? And like whenever you have Kevin Gausman on the bump, I know that the season-long ERA is still not great, but at least since May started, whenever you have Kevin Gausman on the bump, your chances of winning that game are pretty damn good.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next game, let's give a couple of Betway predictions for this game.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal, everybody. Flashing over quickly to the bets that we are going to be rocking with tonight. We're literally going to be at the game, so obviously we got to pick a couple things.
And we got to pick some high rollers, you know what I mean? Yes. We got to get some winning bets
I don't know why. I'm just feeling lucky, but I'm thinking Kevin Gausman's going to get a bunch of strikeouts today. I could see him giving up 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 earned runs. But I just think that he's going to be locked in on the strikeouts tonight, and I'm saying he's going to get over 8.
Yeah, hey, if Kevin Gausman's going to get 8 strikeouts, you got to imagine he's going at least 6 innings, and I do think that with the way that Grayson Rodriguez is pitching, he'll go 6 innings as well. My bet's also for both of them to go in complete 6 innings of pitching. That's typically a Blue Jays game that's competitive. You're going to have both starters go pretty deep. So I got 3 multiplier on mine. Nick's got 4 multiplier on his. That's what it has to be, but that's why their multipliers are so high, because I don't know if it will happen. I don't know.
It is definitely, like, we're taking a shot in the dark here. But, I mean, look, our offense has been kind of poor. Their offense has been good, but it's Kevin Gausman. It will be a tough one. I love this Mike F. comment saying, Bo's got to stop swinging at the first pitch. I mean, we've been saying that time and time again, man. Bo Bichette, better month of May, but, like, last week, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's, we're not at complete panic mode for Bo yet, because I still believe that there's going to be a month where
he goes crazy.
It's like August and Bo is the player of the month and like just a dumb amount of hits.
Right.
But it is frustrating.
It is, man. And I think, look, he does always have a wide strike. So naturally he has a wide strike zone. Like, he'll swing at everything. But when he's on, like, he does lay off the edges a little bit. Like, when it's early or when it's on 2 strikes. That's the big thing. When it's on 2 strikes, he shrinks his zone. His zone is, like, not on 2-strike approach. It's on I'm on first pitch swinging zone.
Right.
Which, if he goes to that approach where he can just shrink it a little bit, you're going to see classic Bo. Like, how many times we say, wow, Bo's the best 2-strike hitter in the league.
Yeah.
Because he's able to do that and foul off the tough pitches. I haven't seen a 2-strike approach from him.
Doesn't look like the best 2-strike approach hitter in the league right now, everybody. It also looks, too, I've noticed a lot of the swings and the misses. It's like, it's kind of just like frustrated. Like, it's a level, it's a mixture of I'm giving up and I'm angry about it, and I'm just
swinging. Hopefully
and
something works.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't care. Like, I think, speaking about spiraling, I feel like he's spiraling quite a bit,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move on to this second game here, guys, which is going to be pretty tough. I said on our live stream, this is probably the most lock of a L of probably the entire season right here. You've got Corbin Burnes, who's a Cy Young candidate this year, 2.35 ERA, 71 strikeouts, up against our favorite player, TBD. That's going to be actually most likely going to be Bowden Francis, and then you might get a Trevor Richards backing. Bowden Francis does not look good, and especially if this is his first start back against the Orioles. My God, I don't care who's on the mound. That's an L.
I think this one could be bad.
This could be embarrassing.
Like, this could be like a double digit, to like
could be
1 or some shit.
Literally, man.
I think there's really not much analysis needed here. You're dealing with what's going to be a Cy Young candidate in Corbin Burnes, if not the Cy Young winner in the American League. And their offense is going to be doing work on what's going to be one of our worst Worst pitching matchups that we've had literally all year. So automatically we are saying, we're 0-2. Yeah, Sophie's literally saying 13-2 Orioles. It feels like it's going to be like something just dumb like that, guys. So honestly, folks, if you got plans on Tuesday night, you might not be missing a whole lot, folks. Moving on to the Wednesday game, though. This one you got La Máquina on the bump, and they are still TBD.
Yeah, right now we're looking at, they have a couple injuries. They might move guys around, but based on the 5 rotation schedule, this game would be, I believe, Albert Suarez. He would be going in this one. Albert Suarez, this is actually my first time reacting to his stats this year. Oh, good. Pretty good.
34 innings. That's not even that insignificant either. Like, it's not like he's been pitching like crazy, but he has been doing well.
Who is this guy? 34 years old.
They must have just found something.
They must have just found him.
He's got to be on a bit of a heater right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not ideal. But again, like small sample size like that, like, you know, he could get blown up at any moment type thing.
Yeah, we've never faced this guy.
But that is honestly problematic for us too.
That is problematic. We have not faced this guy. However, they face Jose Barrios quite a lot. There's Rutschman absolutely destroys.
Oh my God.
Destroys La Máquina.
That's insanity. He's had 19 at bats too. That's not even that small of a sample size. Like he he clearly just sees it out of La Máquina's hand. Okay, well, listen, guys, I got to predict the W at some point here.
For real.
And I just, I feel like our best opportunity is with Jose Barrios on the bump. So offense is going to have to show up today. It's as simple as that. And Jose Barrios is going to have to exercise the demons against Adley Rutschman and friends. And hopefully we win this one 6-3 or something.
And you never know. Maybe they pitched some random other guy to fill out the time, and you got Jose Barrios coming in and facing squaring up against a nobody. Right. So who knows? I'm only saying a W as well because we need a W.
Well, okay, listen. I'm not going to bet that we get swept, and I do think that I'm probably going to bet on this last game that we lose. Yeah. So in that regard, I have to bet that we're going to win on this one.
That's it.
We're 1-2 in the series so far.
And then the last one, guys, is Kikuchi up against TBD. Kikuchi's been struggling lately.
We haven't even talked about him a little bit.
We haven't.
Like, what is everybody's thoughts right now on Yusei Kikuchi?
Let us know, guys.
Give my 2 cents here and just saying, look, he was on an absolute heater for a while right there, pitching incredible. It has now been 2 back-to-back starts of rocky, just, across the board, not great stuff from Yusei, where the pitchers have got to, or the hitters have got to him. For me, it's a rule of 3, though. If you do it 3 times in a row, that's when we can go, okay, there is something seriously wrong here. 2 times in a row, maybe it's a fluke, maybe you're just a little bit off here. You do it a 3rd time in a row, though, now we're going.
You got to go to the video room. You got to find out are you tipping? Are you leaking it over the plate? Is there a mechanical issue? You got to take a little bit of examination. I'm not worried at all really yet, because if you still think about Kikuchi's whole season,
it is
3.66 ERA.
Yeah, no, again, across the board, the season-long numbers are good. If he gets blown up again, right? That's the thing, right? This is the best lineup that he's been up against.
Oh my!
So if he gets blown up again, we might have a bit more of a conversation right there. They do hit off.
Yeah, Mateo, Mountcastle, the J Killer, Rutschman. Yeah. Oh, dude, if J Killer's on the wheel, I am smashing Rutschman. I think it's gotta be Adley. It's Rutschman and Mountcastle right there.
Probably, man. Probably. Yeah,
okay.
They just do work against us. So. We were seeing in the chat right there, Sophie was saying that it's not going to be Suarez for this one, but she's thinking that it will be Bradish. Bradish. What does his numbers look like this year?
It's either Bradish or Irvin, because Irvin was kind of lined up for this one. But let's take a look at them both. You never know. I mean, it's the whole team.
Good. Very, very good. 3.18 ERA. That's incredible.
I think Irvin might be our best bet if he ever does.
Oh, no,
never mind.
No, this guy's incredible as well. I mean, dude, this is why this team is winning so many ball games, right?
Yeah, literally.
We lose.
We're
gonna lose. And that's not good.
No, that would be, we'd go back into our hole. We go down 2 games. We're down now 4 games overall.
Right.
We're under 500. So that would not be good, guys. Best case scenario, we can. We need the Orioles to commit errors. Yeah. We need them to just be off, sick. There needs to be a flu in their clubhouse. Something like that needs to go for the Blue Jays in order to win 2 games. I'm serious.
If we take 2 games off of the Orioles, I'm ecstatic.
I'm thrilled. I think we're actually the momentum's going
this. It's going upwards.
It's going way up.
If we take 2 games off of the Orioles, and I do think that tonight is actually really crucial.
Oh yes.
Because looking at it, we're not winning on Tuesday.
No.
And look, I'm not worried yet about Kikuchi, but he has been roughed up recently. And looking at the other guys that they're going to have, I mean, like those guys are crazy.
For whatever reason, the Blue Jays offense never shows up with Kikuchi.
Right.
No matter what.
No, that is also, like, I mean, I don't know if there's any reason to that, but that is just something as well. Mm-hmm. We have to win tonight if we want to take 2, I think, because, you know, like Thursday or Wednesday, I'm feeling good, but tonight is important.
Tonight is important. Well, why don't we move on and start predicting some things for this series and the upcoming series against the Oakland Athletics, guys. It's time to spin that wheel.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
That's right.
It is, in fact, a wheel that we spin every single week, everybody. Last week, we split it. It was 14 to 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was your week?
I want to say it was yours.
Was that my week? Did I get that week?
I want to say... Someone let us know. Whose week was it last week? Let me go check.
I'll check really quickly, everybody. But fill them in on what transpired while I'm doing that.
So last week, RBIs, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Bichette. When I was counting this up before, I was like, oh, there's no way Bichette got more RBIs than Vlad. Vlad got 1. Only 1 last week. Bichette got 3, and it was all in the White Sox series. So Bichette took that category. ERA, very close one. Gausman goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, but Barrios 7 innings, 1 earned run, and that locked down that category for Nick. And then Bichette and Vladdy, they both scored 2 times, so we split that. So 1 up for me and 1 up for Nick. We're just checking right now who's actually spinning the wheel. We'll see who's like talking afterwards.
I don't even know how to check this.
Maybe. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see. After the wheel spins, and it's who's speaking. We're checking. Sorry, guys. I don't know. Who's
I think it was Adam, says Daniela. Sophie says Adam.
Okay, I think it was me then.
Okay, yeah. My week, everybody. My week. Let's spin the freaking wheel, guys.
Let's do it. Let's spin the wheel. And guys, let us know as well who you'd have for this category if you were spinning this wheel.
What are we going to get, folks? I will say K per 9. That's a joke. I know exactly where I'm going. Give me Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, that is a locked-in Kevin Gausman
right there. He does go twice.
He does go twice.
He does go twice, doesn't he?
He does go twice.
Oops. But it's still Kevin Gausman, and he's still really good. I still think it's Kevin Gausman.
I'd pick still Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, it's still Kevin Gausman. The guy just look. I literally bet on him to get 8 Ks tonight. So
yeah.
We're gonna rock and roll with Kevin Gausman. This guy is just too good when it comes to the strikeouts. Carl Anthony saying Kikuchi. That's probably it. I mean, is that where you're going to go?
See, the thing is, Kikuchi has not been striking people out because he's been struggling so much. If we take a look at the last 15 days on the pitching side of things, like he just has not been, like, unless I'm like going for the Kikuchi bounce back. Okay, let's go. I gotta go to, it always resets all the categories whenever you switch, and I'm like,
I know that Chris Bassett had quite a few, didn't he? 18.
Chris Bassett is popping off, actually.
He is going a little crazy, yeah.
And I might do it because he is missing the Baltimore Orioles.
True, he's going to get, he is going to get the Oakland Athletics, which are going to be, actually, yeah, he had more than Kevin Gausman has in the last 15 days.
And it's higher. You know what? I'm going to rock, and then, Kikuchi's been less. I'm actually going to go Chris Bassett because he's up against those A's. I hope that he just pops off against his former team.
Bacon saying throw a curveball into Bowden. Dude, that is that's punting the season away right there. That's waving the white flag.
He goes a third inning, but gets the 1 strikeout.
That's literally what it would need to be, and then you're good. All right, guys, that's the first category right there. I'm rocking with Kevin Gausman. Even though he goes twice, I mean, that is just the strikeout guy.
He'll also get the A's, and that is OPS.
Okay, this one is a little trickier. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of guys that it could be. I certainly know who I'm not going to pick. But I don't think I feel too bad about letting you go first on this one. So.
Okay. It's Rock, the most consistent guy. Who has it been? Probably Vlad.
It's gonna be Guerrero, I think. It's gonna be. Guerrero. I think he was slowed down a bit last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. He had a
definitely slowed down a bit last week.
David Schneider's not a bad shout at all.
No, it's not.
It's him or
Danny Burgers.
Danny Burgers. Will he get the ABs? Maybe not. Who knows?
George Springer was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Vladdy is old reliable. It's either Babe or Vladdy. Who do I think will give it to me? I mean, Vladdy just 0 extra base hits. Okay, I did Vladdy one time and it won me. I'm gonna flip the other side. Maybe it goes the other. I'm gonna go Babe. I'll go Babe.
All right,
go Babe.
That's very reasonable, man. I was gonna take whoever you didn't take there. Right. Like, I'm totally fine with either of them. Like, they're both good in my opinion. Most people are saying Babe or Vladdy.
Yeah.
Got a couple people saying Danny Burgers. I wanna shoot that shot, but like I'm not. it's not there yet. You know, we're not there yet. So I will lock in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. there for OPS. Everybody, final category. Let's see if we can get the bonus player.
Someone says Bichette. Yeah, right.
Oh, we can't be doing that, guys.
And Jay Killer.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one.
That's a good one, man, because there's so many good selections here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the clear answer though is going to be on the Baltimore Orioles. And for me, it's really between two guys. I know Mountcastle's done in the past, but that's not who it is right now. They have an MVP candidate over there in Gunnar Henderson, who is just losing his mind, and I do think that that's where I have to go.
That's a good shout, and you know what? Honestly, I don't even feel too bad picking Adley Rutschman.
No, I wouldn't. Look, I really don't think that there's a wrong answer here. Like, Adley Rutschman is just phenomenal and has done work against us. Yeah. A lot of people are saying Mountcastle. I know he has done work before, guys, but you're literally, Gunnar Henderson has almost 20 home runs.
That's not a bad shot at all. I mean, literally is like the best player. Like, Rutschman just for whatever reason likes to just
kill us. And I do think, I do think Adley Rutschman has like an OPS in the 850 mark. So it's not like he's a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. But that is going to be the wheel for us this week, everybody. We're going to be at the game literally later tonight, guys. So if you're going to be there, let us know. Hit us up on our social medias. You can email us, hit us up on our Instagram, whatever it is. We're happy to meet up with you. Maybe get a pint or whatever it is, and just say hi.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
go Jays, go!